guys, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. Hope we're all doing well. Welcome to another edition of the London session, guys. So big day on with news about today with ADP come today. So see what happens whilst we're on the charts for the London session. We've had a pretty nice move in the previous M15 candle. That is a really strong liquidity candle. Broke the high of the previous, came back down, break the low of that candle itself. At that point, it was a high probability it was going to continue to push to the downside. So off the back of that, we could have some potential sells in 9 minutes, guys, here on gold. So without further ado, we're going to get stuck into the analysis. In the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, any charts, anything you'd like me to go over, pop those into the chat and I'll get to you all shortly. But without further ado, let's quickly have a look at the news moving forward here today. See if there's anything scheduled for our session here today. Nothing scheduled in terms of high impact news. Obviously, we do have ADP to come, $40 into the MI session. And we do have the ECB president speaking later on into the MI session as well. So a little bit of news to be wary of for MI today. Anyway, guys, smash that like button, TikTok, YouTube, TikTok, smash that screen for me, and let's have a good session, guys. Now, let's start with the gold, and starting first of all on the weekly time frame. And what we can see is once again lower high, lower low, but we have pulled back quite significantly into that previous weekly candle's high. So at the back of that, strong bullish now on the weekly, bouncing at a daily support here as well. So current probabilities. The previous candle broke the high, low, closed strong bullish, closed above the bodies of the candles here to the left. Pretty strong catalyst to suggest we could continue bullish. What we're going to do is mark in the current daily high and low though at this stage. Below to low, we're back below some previous resistance here to the left as well. So structurally, we are bullish. Let's just have a look now on the 4-hour quickly. All right. So 4-hour, we have flipped structure bullish in line with the other time frames. Therefore, the bias at the minute is bullish irrespective of the minor time frame. I'm going to mark in resistance at these highs, or at the highest point. As far as support, we will mark it in just now, a little bit prematurely, but in 7 minutes we'll have the confirmation of support formed here on a 4-hour. We just now crane that higher low to retest the highs and continue bullish. Above the previous daily candles high, we do have some clean traffic all the way up to 33.82 on the 4-hour time frame. Below the current daily candles low, looks like we also have some clean traffic to potentially make a deeper pullback in line with the direction of that previous weekly candle. Let's see what we've got though on the minor time frames here. Let's go to the 15-minute. And above the current daily candles high, we definitely have some nice clean areas to look for a buy. The back of that, use that resistance, the highest point of any bearish candle on that resistance. We've literally just tapped into it and rejected. So if price was to come back up to retest the current daily candles high, begin to pop above it, we're going to be looking at buy options to take it back up to the resistance at 33.52. Very simple one. We have recently formed resistance at it, so if we now form support, head back up to pop above that point, I feel there's a high probability we will continue bullish. Now, as I just mentioned though, we did reject strongly in a previous M15 candle. Based off that, we are hovering below support on the minor time frame here. Let's just mark it in. Pretty much that level just there. And we have literally tapped into it. So what I'm looking at now is, if we were to close a weak bullish candle here on the M15, then I would look to sell gold on the following M30. Using the 30-minute catalyst, the bearish engulfing, along with the 15-minute weak pause below previous support, that to me would be a very solid entry for a sell. So what we can do just now is mark in using our FIP around that 0.382, 0.5 in this case. Seeing we do have a long lower wick as well. So let's just actually, what we're going to do is we're going to use the open, and that pretty much lines up to 0.382. The open to the highest point The 382, sorry, pretty much lines up with the 0.5 of high to low. Let's just check that out yet again. All right, so yeah, the 0.5 is where we want to probably be closing below at this point. So we'll just mark that in. If we close below the 50% mark of the current candle, weak bullish, then I'll be looking to sell gold on the following M30. Again, we'll have the M30 closing back, strong bearish, rejecting the daily high. It's going to be against the structure though, which is the only thing. It's against the bias. The overall bias is bullish across the board. But if we respect the current daily candle's high, continues to reject and remain below the support, then we may have some opportunities to take a sell here shortly on the gold. So we'll keep a bit of an eye on it, guys, before we move on to some other pairs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus a little bit more now on German 40, D40, for those who not too sure what what D40 is. So the index for Germany. So we'll keep an eye on that. It is an indice in session, which is what I prefer to trade rather than NAS, which is the popular one, but it's not in session. So we'll have a look at that. We will chart it up where we'll come up with a game plan moving forward and see what we can come up with. We'll also look at GJ and any other pairs per request. But for the next 3 minutes, let's just keep an eye on gold. And in the meantime, I will say a quick good day to those of you in the chat already. Tony Gold, good day to you. Bartman, Franco, a #1 fan. Interesting, nice one. How are you, brother? James, morning to you. Carl, morning. GGPM, did not like it on the 15. What, the sell? Very impulsive, extremely impulsive, and still above support here. Yep, Franco, German 40. I think it's the way to go, mate. I think that's what we're going to start focusing on a little bit more moving forward. TikTok to the 50 odd of you on stream in a minute. Welcome, welcome. Thank you to the new followers. Let me see quickly if I've missed anything while we wait. 2 minutes. So actually, let me line up gold sells first, just in case. So the entry will be below the bullish candle's low. So a little bit above the actual 30-minute low in this case. So on my broker, it's the low's 33.3701. So I'd be looking at 33.3680. That will safely account for spread. And stop loss will be back above the high. So it all will come down to the next minute and a bit and see how price does close here on the M15. We want it to definitely close below the blue support here. Otherwise, 30, leaving a really long low wick, that may suggest we're just grabbing liquidity from the downside in order to continue and attack the high of the day and potentially break above and look for the option to take a buy here. So we got to be careful with it, guys. Want it to be perfect, and we'll see if it presents in a short time, just over a minute. Garth says sell gold. Okay. The 40 whale selling gold today. Triple S, did you check if your broker is no, I didn't check, to be honest. Completely forgot. No such thing as an expert, mate. I never claimed to be an expert. Brian, where do you think the sellers would pick from? Well, I'd be looking to sell from below the bullish candle's low. But at this rate, it's closing too strong. So I'll need to likely wait for at least another 15 minutes. So it all will depend. In 27 seconds, where this candle closes. Yeah, it's not going to be valid. Unless it rejects very quickly. Yeah, so obviously we're closing back above, well, back above the low of the blue zone here, and that's a pretty ugly 30-minute candle now. Yeah, for me, it's not quite valid just yet, guys. I need off back of the strength of that 15. I now just need to wait to see where this 15 closes. If it closes bearish engulfing, or if it closes near the low, then the sells could be back on the table. Otherwise, I just need to chill and wait for a cleaner confirmation at the minute. So we will move on to, let's move on to German 40 to begin, and then we'll have a look at GJ. All right, so starting at the weekly, so I'm gonna analyze it more so on the 15 as opposed to the 30. I feel the 4 hour and 15 would be give us probably our better opportunities. Focus on the 4 hour levels, obviously, and the 15-minute zones within it, and 15-minute catalyst, maybe even using a 5 at times. So let's do the analysis nonetheless. And what we can see is the weekly, so forming bearish. What we've just done is tapped into the bearish candles high from a couple of weeks back. Previous candle was a strong bullish engulfing candle, current candle higher high, higher low to the previous. So a little bit of a mixed bag here on the weekly time frame. Daily, obviously candles are forming to the downside. We got lower high, lower low in a previous candle. Current inside bar candle, respecting some resistance here to the left. So that was that level we spoke about, or I just spoke about in the weekly. Structurally, it is bearish, so we can use that in line with the actual formation of the previous few daily candles as well. So the 4 hour here is bullish though, that is for sure. We're going to mark in these lows for the time being and adjust it if need be, and we'll also mark in the most recent resistance, which is this point here, and once again adjust it if need be. On to now the 15-minute time frame, and what we can see is that 15-minute structure is bullish. So a little bit of a mixed bag here on German 40. We're going to mark in some resistance here, and we're going to drag that up to this level at 23,871.9. Reason being, because above that we do have some cleaner traffic. So for me, seeing we are pulling back just now to potentially create yet again a higher low within the market, if we did pop above this resistance at 23,871.9, then I feel it'd be a high probability we will continue bullish target. First target would be 23,906 roughly, and then targeting the high of the 4 hour resistance. So buys above would be something I definitely would be considering here. As far as the sells, well, good thing is we have tapped into a few levels just here to the left. So seeing we are now forming a support, potentially, if price was to begin to pop below the support, then we could also potentially look at some sells. So we'll wait and see how this candle closes as well. We've got the 15-minute potentially closing bullish engulfing here. Could be some early options to take a buy off the back of that as well, so long as there is the margin. Now, technically a $1 move is 100 pips on this particular pair. To me, I'll be referring to as $1 is basically a 1 pip move. That's how I'm going to look at it. So therefore, I'm going to be looking for at least a probably $20 to $30 clean area to get involved in a trade. So let's just see, what have we got just now above the current level? So we got about 30, so 300. Okay, so let's see. So we want to close bullish engulfing to consider some early options on German 40 as well here. Once again, we'll use the 5-minute a little bit more, I feel, on this particular indice. Does move with a lot of volume. The 5-minute, we've got some resistance at this point here as well, so we'll wait and see how candles close. But that is my personal opinion of it. Let's look at gold. Gold approaching the support yet again. Still got 10 minutes to wait though. So are we about to reject? We'll have to wait and see. Franco, good idea with the M15 on German 40 because I'm moving very fast. I agree. So gold here, we've got some 5-minute support. I really want this 15 to close below. And if it closes a little bit too strong, makes this decent move, then I'll be looking for a limit order sell back at low of the bullish candle on the interruption play. Gold sniper. You got to sell on gold? No, not in a minute. What is this top fans thing? Is it something new on YouTube? You're number 3 fan? I wonder who's number 2. James, no, sorry. Apologies, let me do that just now. Alright, link sent. Assuming Franco's sent some GU analysis here. It looks a lot cleaner today, that's for sure. Yep, so buys above the resistance, sells below support. Yep, I like the look of that. Let me quickly look at it on my end of things. Not obviously touched this chart since yesterday. But just looking at the 30, yeah, it definitely is the levels that you want to get involved. Below the support, above the resistance. Anything in between is going to be a little bit tricky at the minute. What have I missed? Apologies, TikTok. Triple S, you probably need to check that, or you are being robbed. I will check it out. Honestly, I forgot. I was exhausted after yesterday. After the stream, honestly, what I did was went and quickly had a shower, ate dinner, jumped back on a call with my members, and I was buggered. Went to bed straight after it. Marco, g'day to you. Hope you're well. All good. Had a really good gym session today. Feeling good. You might see some well, I was gonna say nutrition vlogs, but not maybe nutrition vlogs. Maybe some gym vlogs to come moving forward as well. Possibly. And how nutrition doesn't need to be as complicated as what people think. The 40 whale, what about where you'll put your TP? Well, the end target will be 33.30 with support. Triple S, what's my risk per trade? It's dynamic risk. Reason being is because on gold and GJ, I risk fixed lot sizes. On German 40, what I'm going to trial is risking a certain percent per trade. So on gold, for the most part, it's anywhere between about, on the very low end, 1%, up to be honest, sometimes up to about 6%. Which is not, I don't recommend that. Not for someone who's new. You should not really risk more than about 2% max, 1.5%, 2% a trade. 40 well, if you get a confirmation waiting for. Yeah, so I'm waiting for just under 6 minutes. See if we close below here. Brian, it's a buy till 33.52. Could be. Could still be. When no one knows. We'll have to wait and see. It's a short buy. No idea what you mean by that. Sam, low volume on safe haven at the moment. Yeah, I think there's been an agreement as far as a 2-month, 60-day ceasefire coming out of Israel and Iran. The back of that, I probably would have thought gold might take a little bit of a dive, and the risk would be on with, you know, equities and that pumping again. But not much has happened, to be honest. NT, am I buying or selling? Looking for a potential sell. Gold Sniper Franco #1. Nutrition is far over complicated. I know. And you're number 2 as well, mate. So you're number 2 and 3. I have no idea how that works. Alright, I'm not going to buy it off the back of the strength of the M30. Even if this closes weak bearish on the 15. For me, the buys are either going to come from around 33.30 or once again above 33.44, 40. Gold Sniper, I believe it is too. I believe most people would know what works for them, and to be honest, it's not that difficult. Just cut out a lot of the rubbish. I don't consume processed sugar. That's the big one. Just Google body types, find your body type, find what suits. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. After I commented changed, if you click purple, it shows the top 3. Oh, okay. Must be something new. Yeah, okay, must be something new with on YouTube. Any news can affect that move. Gold today, the 40. Well, definitely. ADP. So that's going to be a pretty big event. Now used to come 15 minutes into MY open. Obviously tomorrow NFP, a day early this week because of the bank holiday in the US on Friday. Sam, thoughts on precious metal touching 33.24? I think 33.28 is looking pretty good. We need to wait just 2.5 minutes. 24, I mean, potentially anything could happen. Let's see. Looks like it's potentially gonna close below here. Need to wait just a little more than 2 minutes. Now the entry at this point will be below the bearish candle low, so that's a little bit lower down to the previous low. So if you're looking around 36.65 roughly. So we want it to close relatively strong, and we would preference at least engulfing the body. The low would be even better. Kieran Plomer on buy from 337. Okay, I'm looking to sell it. We'll see. How do you think buy or sell? I'm looking for a sell in 1.5 minutes. Sam, all good? Sam J, sell or buy, looking for a sell. Just under 1.5 minutes, potentially. Need a little bit of an upper wick on the following candle. The M30 still open, so the M30 is creating an upper wick. So we don't have to be all that picky with it. We just want to see a little bit of an upper wick. Stop loss back above the current 15, which will be about 29 pips, 28.5 pips. So not too bad. So just under 1 minute, guys. We could be looking at some gold sells. $65, yep. NFKFJ, looking for a sell. Sam, 39.41 was a perfect sell, isn't it? If it ticked the box in accordance to your plan, I'm almost about to have a decent confirmation to sell it. Land double V, you're in a sell, nice one. Sam J, what's TP? And I'll secure at intervals, but in between, but otherwise this support. All right, need a bit of an upper wick. Perfect. All right, trade valid. Didn't quite close engulfing, but we engulfed the body, so that's good enough. We've pushed away from this previous zone. after closing below on the on the M15 previously, only to close back at it, and now to pretty much wipe that out. So not in just yet, but we're looking at some sells here on gold. Well, let's see. Yeah, stay away from processed sugar. It's disgusting. It is. It's horrible stuff. Very bad for you. You're about to shift to number one. I think you probably will, mate, very shortly. So let's see, guys. Quickly look at German 40. Alright, so it did reject in the end. So the sells below might not even look bad on German 40 as well here, guys. Below the bullish candle low. Lines up with some previous support. Oh, gold. Let's have a look. Alright, so we are in. We are rolling. There we go. Stop loss to entry. I'm closing half at 15. And job done in seconds. Smash that like button. Smash the screen. TikTok. That's how we roll. Nice and easy. Smashing it. Absolutely rocking and rolling here. So safely at break even. Within about 10 seconds, TP1 hit. Very simple price action trade there for me. Very simple. Bread and butter. Bread and butter trade. Would take that every single day of the week. So let's see, it's popping back up. It could take my runner out. Actually close to 80%, not 50%, which is a good idea. But the overall target would be this support, but I'm happy to secure some profit. Yeah, I'm out. All right, so quick one. Quick in and out. All good. All good. Happy with that quick trade. Hopefully some of you took advantage of it. How did it take my runner out? Wow. I thought I should still just be in, but anyway. Thank you, mate. Nice one. Good start. Anyone else other than Franco? Let us know. Stevie, you are in a narrow bullish state. Did you know that? I am. Bullish hard. Irrespective of what state it's in, I'm just trading what I see, my signals. That's all I'm doing. I don't give a shit if it's in a narrow bullish state or bearish state, or I'm just doing me. That's all. Gold melting now, but irrespective, that was a pretty good win, so I'm not too fussed if it melts now without my runner being in. But that is the target. That is the overall target, guys. Original fits, gold triple one. Stevie, am I turning bearish now? The bullish is bias. I was about to say, the bias is bullish. It's my dyslexia journey in for a second. But however, I had a very strong price action catalyst to sell it. So I always mention you need to be fluid in the markets, and if you have a really strong signal to trade against your trend, as long as you got clean traffic as well, that's a must. There is no harm in trading against the structure based on pure price action. We have rejected strongly the daily high, the resistance at the daily high. We had tried to push back above the support after we previously rejected it, only to wipe that bullish candle out. To me, it's a very strong catalyst to sell it off the back of that, and I would take that every single day of the week with the utmost confidence, knowing it work at least 80+% of the time. So well done to anyone else that took it. Carl, a little bit late, mate. Still in? Nice one. Oh, okay. Jay still in? Okay. a sniper, nice one. So pretty good start to the new month. I can leave that gold W there. Loyalty family, let me look at German 40. That's USO. All right, so let's have another quick look at this. So we've got 5-minute support here as well. So let's mark in the, all right, it's the 15. That's the 5. I actually don't mind it still, to be honest. I would have stop loss above this bearish candle high, and I would target that support. Let's have a look at this on the 30 as well. All right, 30 is rejecting. I'm not seeing this up, by the way, guys. I'm not about to jump straight in. It is bullish, so you need to be in just now, to be honest. Your entry would be pretty much just now on the break of that bullish candle low. Very similar sort of scenario to gold here, but gold was awaiting a confirmation after what was a stronger bullish candle, whereas German 40 here, that's a weaker bullish candle. So if we use the fib, that would suggest if price broke the low of it, there's a high probability it could continue to the downside. So it looks pretty good off that. Just a little bit of 5-minute support here to be a little bit concerned about. So that would be the other option, to wait and see if it actually closes below 5-minute support, because at that point it is a hell of a lot cleaner. But that could be an option just now. But I'm not in it, guys. Sorry, I think it's E and not lion, isn't it? Still in, nice one. See Jack R1, so we sell it. What, German 40, you could potentially sell it. You could wait for the 5 minutes close below support though. Wow, look at gold now. Oof. CMD, sir. Which pair? This is gold. Marky, what pair? This is gold. AJK, daily buys is sell, bro, manipulation plus reversal into continuation. I think you mean bias. I just sold it, so not saying not to sell it. The way I determine bias is actually bullish though, but I just sold it. Gold Stevie down to 33.29. Yeah, that would be the target. 33.30. It is in. Sorry, I read it as an L instead. 33.29. You got the 200 waiting. What are you talking about? 200, mate. I said it earlier, the target is 33.30, so dreaming, buddy, you're dreaming. AJK, you sell, like I meant daily move is bearish. Yeah, the daily move is bearish. The fact that we respected the daily high and rejecting. Wow, look at that. Damn, that just took my runner out, but irrespective, it was a good win. Because of the fact of the fixed lot size, and I secured 80%. Could have been a lot better, but still a win's a win. Happy with that. $200 SMA, alright, fair enough. Don't use indicators, they do lag, but each their own. There you go, German 40, we called it. You've got almost TP, potential TP1. There we go. Definitely got the 10 plus pips just now. So for those who say you never call a trade, 2 yesterday, 2 so far in the first few minutes, or first half an hour or so of the stream. Buy and shall we sell now? No, if you're not on a gold sell, you're too late to the party. That's just that's the fact of the matter. You need to reassess and wait. So now for me, I would be looking for potential buys back at support. The preference would be for it to come back down. Form support at the previous 4 hour, at the 4 hour support, or still back above the high. The other potential option we could have is buys above 33, 39, 40. But I would prefer the back of the strength of the M30 at the minute to the downside. I probably would prefer a 30-minute closure, at least prior to it being bullish. Doesn't necessarily need to close at 30 back above that point, but at least we've got some sort of 30-minute support. And then we approach, close above, and then we could look for buys to take it back up to the daily high yet again and see if we can breach and close above the resistance at that point. AJK, I think it would go sell till 3314.53. This the zone of support. Okay, fair enough. Have we even analyzed GJ yet? I don't think we have we? Should we bother? Original vids, Brent oil to melt. WTI is crude. Alright, so what Brent is that? Excuse my ignorance, is that just US oil? I just don't trade it, so I'm not sure what the ticker is. Alright, we'll have a look at GJ as well, guys. Why not? Petrolina. CP was the support at 33.29, 33.30, 33.30, that region. But again, you already had some significant profits to secure. Again, I'm a scalper, so I'm not greedy. I take profits and profits are on the table, and I manage drawdown when price goes into drawdown. Stevie, I can't do it. I can't do it because that triggers the bot to ban the stream. I've got the full screen on YouTube. For anyone who wants to jump across to YouTube, I'm streaming live on YouTube at the same time, and there you can see the full screen. They're not as strict with it on YouTube. Trading market. What pair is this? German 40, is it share? Is it volatile? It's the indice. It's probably the leading indice for the European and UK session, London session. It is very volatile, and very nice to see that again. A price action signal would have made the move. Definitely would have secured some profit here. All right, back to GJ. Apologies, guys, for anyone who does care about it. Original vids, US. Oh, okay. All right, let me look at GJ and then I'll have a look at USO. So GJ, look at that rejection on the weekly. No upper wick still. I mentioned all week. It doesn't necessarily need one. As long as any pullback within the current weekly candle is met by resistance, which was previously created on the move to the downside on the minor time frames, then we don't necessarily need to pop back up to create the upper wick, and we could just end up closing a strong bearish candle with no upper wick. Daily, pretty nice. Well, a lot of rejection actually. Previous daily candle at previous resistance here to the left. Did close though below the bodies. Very festive. Well, not festive. Carnival music. Not sure what to think of it. But anyway, back to the charts. Sorry to digress. Current daily, not a great deal of volume inside bar candle. What we will do is mark in both the high and the low. High and low. Low and high. Off the daily, go on to the 4 hour. And what we can see is we are bearish here on the 4 hour. Let's change it to grey. We're currently at the level of resistance by the looks of it. Onto the 30. I focus more on the 30 here on GJ. Alright, so above that resistance, not bad. Actually, chart looks not that bad in my opinion today. It's most recent support, so we'll mark that in. So we've just tapped into pretty much the daily high, similar to gold, and we're rejecting the resistance to the left, which is a 4 hour level. So if we were to now approach that level yet again and close above it, I feel it's a good chance to take some buys up towards 197.750. So it's about 20 pips roughly margin, so not a great deal, but maybe enough to secure some profit. Otherwise, is there any margin below the support here? Probably not, to be honest. So therefore, probably best just to focus on the next level down and look for either, seeing the 30-minute is definitely bullish, look for either a buy from that support or sells below it. And that's exactly how we'll be playing a GJ for those who are interested. Now onto US oil. Still strong bearish of the previous weekly, absolutely no volume. Maybe if the fact that there's a ceasefire agreement over in the Middle East, so very little volume this week on US oil. Daily structurally is bullish, but again just consolidating at some previous support to the left, which lines up with some resistance. So key level we're currently at here around that 64, 65, 66 sort of region here on US oil. The 4 hour, nasty consolidation. It does look a lot cleaner, pretty much below that wick. So we'll mark in, means whole level. You really could just mark that in. That's support, resistance. Probably just mark that in and maybe adjust it. It's an ugly chart, to be honest, because of the pure consolidation it's at on the high time frames. The downside, yeah, this is a really ugly chart. Would not be going anywhere near it at all. Got wicks to the left here. In this situation, I'd literally wait for it to make a clear move up and see if it rejects for a sell, or clear move down, see if it bounces off support for a buy, or buys sells below and buys above. Very simple. Otherwise, to me it's nasty, but a very strong level of support, and it is respecting it. Back to the gold. All right, so that was trade 1. Time to move on. New mare. XAU USD sell. We already took a sell. Hey, Mark Gold. Yep. Chris, morning to you, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, so that would have worked. That would have worked for enough to secure some partials. It's tapped into some previous resistance here. So interesting to see. Oops. Oh, another thing. The interruption play. Although it looks like, it appears like it broke the low of that previous bearish candle prior to pulling back up to retest that zone, but it's literally tapped into it and it's rejecting it so far. So interesting to see that. Let's quickly do the rounds, guys. Let's have a look. EU breaking to the downside as well here. Just closed a little bit above support, so be very impulsive to take the entry just now without a strong enough confirmation of the closure below. Still could reject. The GU lagging behind EU at the minute, so for GU, want the closures below to support. Let's quickly look at EJ. Nothing there. Chris, yeah, we took a gold sell for a quick, very quick 15 pips, came back up. Somehow tagged my runner out and melted again for a bit, but all good. It was a nice win. John, more than welcome. Welcome to you. Morning from, or good evening from Melbourne. Speaking back and Burke. Love that name, mate. Currency, well, this is gold. What I was looking at before was GJ. I was looking at sifting through all different pairs. So, thank you for the sticker. What are thoughts on today's market? You can back and burn. Well, the actual bias is bullish on gold, but I saw an opportunity to take a sell just recently, which we took advantage of. So now what I will focus on is seeing if price does actually make the move down to the support here and form support back above 33.30. Still going to technically be bullish here on the 30, also 15. Well, not really on the 15, technically bearish. But irrespective, we've got the weekly forming a strong bullish candle. We've got the daily candles as well. The previous daily was a strong bullish candle. It kind of lines up with some resistance here to the left as well on the 4 hour also. So if it did pop back down and bounce off that level of support and provide a signal within price action, I would look to potentially buy it from that point. Otherwise, would also now consider buys above the level here at 33, 39, 30 roughly. Or buys back above the current daily candles high. That's pretty much the way I see proceedings at the minute. Oh wow, look at that. So the interruption looks like it would work as well here. So far so good. Really liking what I'm seeing on German 40. Yeah, thank you for the stickers, appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Demi, thoughts on GJ? So I just covered it not long ago. To me, it actually looks a little bit better today. The actual chart itself in the minute looks like shit. It's just consolidating, so there is no confirmation of anything at the minute. But I like the fact that what it has done is tapped into the 4 hour resistance here. It's rejected that level at the daily high. So if we were to continue bearish, then there really is no need for us to pop back up to that level and break that level and close above it. If we did so, I feel there's a very, very high probability that we're going to head back up to the resistance here around that 197,750, and that would be a reasonable target. So it's not a great deal of margin, but there still could be enough to get a quick little scalp off the back of that. Otherwise, I would preference waiting for price to pop back down to 197.05, that sort of level, 197.10, and look for some support above it or closures below it for some sells. Or continuing down, let's look through the time frames and see if there was possibly a re-entry, the 5 minute maybe. Okay, looking good now to potentially come back down. Some of you are still probably holding, which is good. Hopefully some of you are still holding, still well in profit. In time frame for German 40, I'm gonna focus more on obviously the 4 hour. 4 hour to me is a very significant level. 4 hour zones, so hence these gray levels. And more so 15 and 5. I'll still look at a 30, but not as much. I'll look at the hourly, but obviously not as much. So I'll be predominantly again starting the higher time frames for the general direction, and looking at the 15 and 5 for your entry catalyst. So we've got 18, 17 and a bit minutes left until session open. Let's see if price is back at support. Now the other potential option could be if gold just retraces back up towards the resistance that we've just come from and rejects yet again. Seeing we've made a relatively clean move now to the downside. If we do reject again, there could be maybe some more options to take a sell. Stevio shit going at 33.29, looks like it could. Pull back possible too far from the 20. I'm assuming you're talking about SMA again. EI Michigan, you're taking a short. I've already taken a short on gold. Called a quick win earlier, about 20 odd minutes ago, roughly. MA, do I have enter a sell? You can do whatever you please, but for me, there is no confirmation just at the minute. Again, the sells were from higher up, which we took a little bit earlier. Just need to wait yet again for it to reassess. That's simply what we need to do. You can't just always be in a trade. I mean, you can, but not the way I roll. DVS, the SMA. Are you in Australia? I most definitely am for a minute anyway. Yeah, Michigan, how many pips do you catch on the sell boss? Oh no, not a huge move. It was it would have been a bit more, around 15, 16. I've not actually checked the end position. I went to cut 80% at that point, where it slipped me to the downside or not, or back up if not. I'm not too sure just yet. It was around the 15 plus pips. And it unfortunately I'm not sure how it did it. The spread must have taken my runner out. And then it melted again, but it is what it is. Because I secured 80% of a pretty substantial position size, so I'm happy with that. Stevie, no, not Sydney. South of Sydney. Rainy, drizzly, freezing cold, Melbourne. Mohammed, gold price is too high. Not sure why you think that. I think gold price could continue even a lot higher, to be honest, moving forward. There's no reason to have gold price higher than 3,300. I'm not sure again why you think that. You can do whatever it wants. 740 popping back up. Gold continuing to the downside here, so just need to wait again. 5 minute providing some decent opportunities here. Little interruption play yet again there. Price is tapped into the low of that bullish candle wick and since rejected. Not that it would have been the best entry because of the engulfing candle wasn't quite engulfing enough, but still the theory behind it would have worked really nicely just then. Ian still in. Only a half. Nice one. Still, that still makes some decent coin. Mo Martin. Yeah, really took a shot on gold. Now just waiting for it to set up again. No rules 2025. I'm on top step X. Can't find Xauusd. Top step that's a futures prop firm, is it not? You won't find Xauusd on futures prop firm. Xauusd is spot, my friend. You need to look at GC. It's the futures contracts. It will look very similar to gold, but it's not quite the same. Reason being is because the times are out. So this says there's 7 minutes until this 15-minute candle closes. If you look at spot gold, saying we've got 12 minutes, which is session open. Stevie, do I trade US market live? Not on TikTok. No, I have a look at it pre-MY into pretty much the open with my members, at least a couple days a week. We also have live calls every other day, basically, except for Saturday. Every second Sunday we have a sim session, but every single day of the week there's a call, a members only call at some point. But I'm not that fond of NY, to be honest, because the time here as well. All right, gold looking good. All right, GU, nice strong closure as well below, but unfortunately it's made the move. Not much you can do with that. EU dumping. Good old Aussie. Slowest moving major. Stevie, do you trade equities? No, but I'm considering and picking up German 40. I think it'd be a good, or indices, sorry, not equity. Equities, no, I don't trade stocks at all or anything like that, but I will be looking at trading obviously the indice that is German 40 moving forward. $10 minutes until the session open, guys. Let's see. Stevie, 33.31 resistance, then 33.29. Pretty much tapped into, yeah, 33.31 to start this for 30-minute support. Here we go. Nice one. Yeah, so the end target looks like it would have been hit. So well done for anyone else who might be still holding on then Ian. No rules to 2025. We in trade, you'll know. Was in a trade already. Already took some sells on gold, already took some profits on gold. Old Bud 510. Is this Asia market? This is London, pre-London into London Open. So London Open is in just under 10 minutes from now, just over 9 minutes. No rules 2025. Every bro JS to make sure I've got GC on my Top Step X. That's what we will be trading. That's what you will be trading. I trade spot gold, I don't trade futures. So you need to be careful because the charts will look a little bit different. And the time frames are a little bit different. So they almost look the same. But again, we've got 3 minutes of the current candle left on the 15 here on GC, whereas gold, we've still got 8.5. So it's 5 minutes out. There it goes, taps into target. Stevie, you and I both. I also said the same thing. Secret account, do you trade any Bitcoin? No, I don't. But, I mean, price action essentially should work across the board. It really should. I've said it all along, Bitcoin to me is very, very, very bullish still. Extremely bullish at the minute. Yeah. As long as it really remains above 100k, continues to close above it on the higher time frames, I feel there's a high probability it likely is going to eventually rip and create a new all-time high. The 4 hour. Yeah, it's bullish across the board. It's very bullish here. Had a bit of a resistance on the M30 and the minor time frames. Yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail with it, but I would be hesitant to buy it just now because of the level it's at. But I would be more bullish than bearish for sure. Alright, so gold, we're at support, so we need to wait for a catalyst potentially for some buys now. So strong approach. So therefore we need at least a 30-minute closure, and with to the upside, and within it we want to see something on the 15. Some sort of catalyst, whether it be the weak bullish pause, bearish, whether it be the strong bullish first M15, followed by the weak bearish pause, which will close the 30, still a strong bearish bullish candle at support. And the entry above the bearish candle's high, that could be one potential entry. We could validate an entry from this level. Or what we could have is the first 15-minute candle closes like so, decent lower wick. The second M15 closes bullish engulfing. Preferably not with that much of an upper wick. We'll just remove that quickly. Something like so. And then that will close the M30 looking a little bit like this. Maybe a long lower wick into the support here, the 4 hour support, and then off the back of that, next candle opens up, creates a bit of a low wick, and then we could potentially be looking at buys above the catalyst candle's high. So there are just a few familiar price actions, or patterns within price action I'm familiar with that I could look out for at the current level. But good start to the stream. Already one win. We called also what would have been a win on German 40 for TP1 anyway. Carly's still in. Stops the break even. Secured. Nice one. No rules, you need help. I don't know when to sell or buy. Kind of got the same chart. Well, mate, to be honest, you're probably not ready to be trying to pass the challenge. If you're not sure when to sell or buy, you should be pretty competent trader if you're taking on a challenge, to be honest, my friend. So you just need to look out for similar sort of things to present on GC. That's all you can do. And you would have had a very similar entry, but just would have been maybe a few minutes later if you're following on. So we took the entry there on spot gold and it would have been the same entry. Looking at the 15, basically the exact same thing. Justice, $500 USD on gold, nice one. Giuliano, we can buy, not just yet. I mean, you can, there's nothing stopping you from buying, but for me, I don't have a confirmation. Original feed. So what is simple for gold chart you're on? XAU USD spot gold. But man, I'm gonna sell at gold. What do you thought? Well, yeah, we were in a sell as well, so I think you definitely were on the right side of things for the time being, but you're out now at support, so I would have secured the whole thing had I still had a runner in. It's tapped into what I believe is a realistic target, and it could bounce off this level. It is a 4-hour support as well, so just be a little bit wary of that. I would definitely take some profits if you've not already done so. If you want to maybe leave a little bit of a runner, up to you, but you know, for me, had my runner not been taken out earlier, I would have secured the bag at that level for sure. DV5 candle, so I would be up. Fair enough. Secret account, I caught BTC short at 108k and bought at 105,650 for long. Fair enough. Again, if you guys are following your plan, by all means, well done. No rules, I told you, just look out for the exact same things I'm looking out for on spot gold on GC. Secret account, you include order blocks, liquidity sweeps into your strategy. You support resistance, liquidity sweeps, depending how you refer, what you refer to as a liquidity sweep. I see that as a liquidity sweep. Approached the high of the day, tapped in, broke the high of the previous candle, high, low, high, high. So therefore, it would have had no need to pull back down and break the low of that candle for us to continue bullish. So that to me swept some liquidity from the upside, and we have since rejected quite strongly. Similar thing potentially happening at the support here, but I'm not taking off the back of one very weak bullish candle on the 15 against what has been a pretty strong sell-off leaning up to it on the 30. So I'm just going to wait. Petrolina, again, if you're not already in a sell, you're unfortunately a little bit too late. I wouldn't be selling it just now. No rules there yet. GC, that's your screen. Surely run some GC. It's pretty much the same, mate. Alright, so it's not a bad signal here on a 15. Ooh, not a bad signal off the back of the open of the candle too. It's popped straight down. there is a very high probability it's going to pop up to create the upper wick. Off the back of that, you could almost have a cheeky little option, but you have to be market execute. That's the only thing you could possibly do. Very, very risky. Extremely risky. Stop loss would have to be below the entry candle's low, in anticipation that the price will likely pop back up to create an upper wick. You've got the 15 closing back bullish. It's a very, very impulsive entry, guys, so be very careful if you are considering it. But that's what you could potentially be looking at. In anticipation it's going to create the upper wick, your stop loss would have to be back below the low. Pretty much like so. But again, extremely, extremely risky. So I'm not confident and comfortable with it, because it's not a high probability trade in regards to price action catalyst. You don't have, you've got the 30 closing back, very strong bearish still, a strong approach to the support. So very, very careful if you are going to take this. GJ, nothing. German 40 making a bit of a move to the upside. Wow, look at that at session open. Big strong rejection just there. Joseph is buying M5. Strong closure on the M5. So it looks like it could potentially pop up to create the upper wick. User, you could be in a very, very impulsive buy, but it is very, again, very risky, because the lead up to it, you've tapped into a support, strong bearish, but the new session open candle has no upper wick. The hourly has no upper wick. There's a good chance that it could pull back up to create the upper wick. So again, make of that what you will. It's not a great trade, not something that I'm not taking it personally. But again, it's just off the back of the fact that there is a good chance it could create the upper wick. But there is no solid price action catalyst to actually take it. But I did call it, but I'm not taking it. So we'll see how it would play out, if it does play out. And let me have a look at what I missed in the chat. Stevie trading is next level. Hard, really need to work and understand the market. Risk management, your top priority. Extremely difficult. Risk management, to be honest, is key. That, emotions, discipline. So for me, I know this is a very, very low probability setup, so I'm not personally taking it, and I know that we didn't have a strong enough catalyst to do so, but I just want to see how it would play out. Probably would have had, I'm not sure how many pips he would have had profit. It did pop up into profit, but it looks like it's retracing back to support here. So interesting one. Is it going to tap in and then bounce? I'll have to wait and see. Gray, are you looking for a re-entry? If I'm to look for an entry here, I'm going to look for this candle's closed bearish, and I'm going to look for a buy if price closes back above that bearish candle's high. So that first scenario I mentioned before when I was looking at price approach this level, how I mentioned I want to see a 30-minute closure back bullish. So if this closed bearish, we form some minor resistance. at support, and then it'd be a matter of waiting for price to close back above the resistance, like so, and that would be definitely a catalyst within price action for me to take an entry off the back of that 100%. So I'm looking more at buys now moving forward. Got no upper wick, so there is, again, there's a very high probability that's going to pop up to create the upper wick. We'll wait and see. Hunji, not sure why you think that, up to you. Modi, yeah, I will be if we close above. If this closes bearish, it still could flip. Again, it is the open of the new hourly. It still could flip, create the upper wick. But if this closes bearish, then I'll be looking for a closure above this bearish candle's high, and then I'll be looking for buys. Joseph, gold is confusing. Buy what level? Market buy limit. I'm not, no buy limit. Nom fee 12. Thank you for the sticker. Secret account, you're waiting for it to go below 33.28. It's get into not waiting for it to go below that point. It's getting into a long. For a sell, look, for a sell, it's a bit tricky. For a sell, you really need to be below these wicks to the left for a continuation sell anyway. So sells below 33.25, they're way off at the minute. So I definitely focus on the buys. Sketchmas, same to you. Pop in and drop a like. Appreciate it. Looking at for golf, candle closes bearish below previous. Would it be looking good to go lower? Yeah, for sure. Bearish engulfing, same scenario as before, to the downside here. So we'll wait and see. Are we now going to form support? Are we going to pop above this bearish candle that we are currently forming? And if so, we could have some buys on gold moving forward. So it probably wouldn't have worked by the looks of it, that very impulsive entry. Glad I did not personally take it. Again, very risky because you've got just the 15 against the 30 against the hourly. It's not strong enough confirmation. JJ still looks like shit. German 40 rejecting again. German 40, wow, lots of volume at session open. That's the level we need to be below now. Do you use the ARP strategy, big and back and boat? No idea what it is, to be honest. So I think there's your answer. No, I don't know, we buying, selling? I'd rather buy it from the current level. We're in sells from up here. Took some profits off the table. Now waiting for potential buy, to be honest. Secret account, thank you, Hanji. I show it all live here, what I do. Every single trade I take is live, either here or with my members, or I call it in the members group. I was even looking at sells earlier on gold. which I did call, but it wasn't valid in the members group. So no one forces you to be here, my friend. Once again, if you don't like it, bugger off. All good. Martin, in itself 33.44, TP's 32.20. All right, so you a wider target 32.20. So you're focused on this level for whatever reason. Maybe, I don't know, it could be a fair value gap or something. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But again, at least you got a plan. That's the main thing. You need to have a plan. Tell you what, I was very tempted to take that. Very tempted. Wouldn't have worked, so happy I didn't. That's the main thing. You can back and boat, thank you. Baruch. That's a great demand zone. Let me go get my laptop. NFK FJ, thank you. 33.20. Okay, fair enough. Yep. 33.20. That seems a little bit more realistic. Yeah, potentially. It just needs to break this support though. Still looks like it could potentially create the upper wick here. It's trying. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing, because now one of the two scenarios that I mentioned prior to London Open would present. So we're wick down into the first one, into the range below, into the zone, but also the range below. We are closing bearish. So very, very, very simple. My plan on the next candle. That's what I want to see. Bullish engulfing. If it engulfs that bearish candle, then I will definitely be looking for some buys. Just need a bit of a low wick on the new M30, and I'll be looking for buys to take it back up. Very simple game plan. Original vids, be thankful a lot of people will force you to pay 200 monthly. 100%, it's true. I do have a group, but it's definitely not that much. But I'm happy to do this all, you know, on stream for free. To the cat profile pic. Looking at gold, looking for potential buys shortly, maybe in 15 minutes or so. Martin, after 33.20, I'll partially hold for 33.10. That's fair enough. 33.10. Alright, support down here. Where was the entry, by the way? Sorry if you already mentioned it. G, do you also do swing trading? No. No, I started swing trading, but it wasn't for me. Apple user buy. Dex paid. Super account, took a buy. Okay, hopefully you're in some profit. Ian. Oh wow, look at that. Jesus. It's gonna be fun trying this thing. Wow. That's what I call liquidity sweep. Broke the high. That point had no need, if it was to continue bullish, to come back down, break the low of the previous candle, let alone the support. If it does, wow, look at that. Tapped into a target here. Lots of volume on German 40. All right, so 15 closing. So very simple, guys. If we are to get another trade here, this is what we want to see in a falling candle. Very simple. investing. I missed an earlier sell, but now I'm looking for a potential buy. User, do I send? No, I don't. No signal service. I have a trade ideas section of my BIP where if I'm looking at the chart, if I'm on the chart and I see something looking good, I will mention it, but it's not a signal service. It's just it's a community. It's an education group as well. You know what works for me. I obviously dish out everything I know, included in the full course as well. But it's definitely not a signal service. So how did the orange man talk or some? Sam J, we take buy now. No, not for me. No. Almost took an impulsive buy early. I'm glad I didn't, because it would have taken my stop loss out had I taken it for sure. So 1-0 so far for today. Dude, which stock? This is spot gold. It's not a stock. Yusuf, L 100. Actually, just give me a minute, guys. I gotta put something in the oven. Just 1 minute, I'll be back. Don't go nowhere. Alrighty, guys. Good pre. Sweep Asian low. Do you think it's going low? What I think, I mean, it could do anything. I react to what I see, so it also pretty much will create a daily high just before the stream as well. So it's swept the low now. It hasn't just swept the low. It's grabbed liquidity in order to continue bullish, but we'll wait and see. I won't buy it until we actually close back above that bearish candle high if we engulf. However, if we do close below, I'm not that keen because of these wicks to the left, so this support to the left. So for me, below 33.25 is the better option, unless it's on a pullback to sell it yet again. But primarily my focus will be buy it at the minute, just because of the level that we're at. Wow, what a move. Brian, this is gold. Yep. Andres, stop loss. There is no entry. I have a stop loss at the minute. Just missed keys. Price action with no wicks, so absolute shit. It is tricky, isn't it? To be honest. A lot of the time, price won't continue bullish, but at some point, it's likely to pop up to fill that gap, if that's, you know, what you call it. Steve, good morning to you. DAX 40 quite often has these large volume moves at London Open. Interesting. Yeah, well, something I'd need to be a little bit more cognizant of. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, very big move. It's a huge move. Puts gold to shame. Gold sniper turned out to be a great trade. The gold one, yeah, the sells were a cracking trade then. Elbow. Man, Hunter, what's your view on G40 next move? Well, it's made the move to support now. Let's look at it in a 4 hour again. Yeah, I would really love for it to come back down to the 4 hour support. Doesn't necessarily need to though, but that's what I would preference. I would preference either price coming back down to the 4 hour support, once again forming a little bit of consolidation, similar to what I mentioned on gold. Let it form some resistance, maybe a bit of consolidation, and if it begins to pop above the resistance, then I'd be looking for some buys to take it back up. Otherwise, I would just wait for pullbacks to potentially sell it. So if it rejects 23,757, it makes a clean move up in the meantime and rejects that level, then I'll be waiting for a confirmation in price action. I mean, the other level is where it just come from. So 23,784, you're looking for price to pop back up towards that level and reject, otherwise buys back above 23,871.9. Gold snuff, I can't remember how many pips dollars. Isn't it 100 technically? But the way I look at $1 is literally 10 pips. But I think if you technically to look at it on baby pips or whatever, I think they refer to it as something a little bit different. When I get home, I'm full porting my funded on green. Andre, what time frame using? New. So predominantly the 15 here on gold. Wow, so it's still pushing to the downward, thinking to the downside, dropping through some support here. Is there anything that we should be wary of that's been breaking in the news that may be causing gold to melt at the minute? Iran's president Pezeshkian puts into effect law suspending cooperation with UN nuclear watchdog. Any state media, I would have thought that would potentially pump gold, if anything. Yeah, it's Australian. We don't count. Line architecture, good one to you, mate. Welcome, hope you're well. G just made a bullish fair value gap on 15-minute. I reckon lower to sweep more liquidity. Okay, fair enough. Secret account, do you ever trade futures purely off? I don't trade futures. Do I trade off higher time frames? Not really. No. But the same price action patterns do present on, for instance, the 4 hour, even on the daily sometimes. But for the most part, no. So if this 4 hour closed bearish engulfing, that would be a cracking setup, and that could suggest a real chance that price makes a dip and pull back. You need to wait 2.5 hours for that. I have coached and mentored some people who've chosen to trade up the higher time frame and have used it quite successfully, purely because they don't have the time to sit on the chart and focus so much on the minor time frames, and they found it a little bit more difficult as well. But gold on here on the 4 hour does look really good if it closes bearish below. Looks fantastic because you're back below some resistance as well. Bearish engulfing candle, that's a price action catalyst in itself, no matter what time frame. And that to me, be waiting for an upper wick on the new candle. I'll be looking to sell it now. If it did actually close current candle, strong bearish engulfing candle, what I would be looking for is for the following candle to break its upper wick, retest that zone, and look for rejection, and then I'd look to sell it from higher up before it actually breaks the low. And that's it. Your second option will be with momentum as it breaks your catalyst candles low. Exact same sort of scenario as what I'd be looking at on the 15. Exact same scenario as what we were looking at before, the earlier gold sells as well. So it's relevant across the board, really. Yeah, so gold's going in the opposite direction to where we want it to go for the time being. So we just need to wait. Now let's quickly look at German 40 again. Still quite a lot of volume. GJ still absolutely nothing. The chart looks better today. The level is better, just not doing anything at all yet again. GU, that was the move. EU a little bit. It's a little bit better. You could potentially look at buys from the current support. You got resistance forming as well. But again, similar to what I mentioned on gold before, seeing the current trend within the daily is to the downside, I would preference a 30-minute closure back above the 15-minute resistance. And seeing we have bounced off support, created support at previous level here to the left, if we were to wipe that support out, begin to pop below, then sells look good down to 117.60. Wow, gold continuing bearish. Alright, so now we can draw in the next level. Let's suss this out. Is it a 4-hour level? It's not, so this is the next level of interest. I'll add a level just there. We use the bullish candle high because we don't have a zone otherwise, and that's where, again, what the buys above. Geo, gold, yep. Manhunter, all good. Sandus, are you gonna sell now? No, we're in a sell earlier. The sell was at the beginning of the stream, pretty much the first 20-30 minutes of the stream. Around a tour, nothing in a minute. The current level I'm preferring buys, but I don't have any confirmation to do so at the minute. CV Golf Wire, you got resistance at 33.25. $33.25. Again, I don't see it, to be honest, not in a 4-hour. I see the support being at this level that we attempted to break. Ronaldo, gold, yep. Sanders at the minute, just watching, already took a sell. So I'm now chilling, ready, secured some profit. Now I'm just waiting for a setup again. Stay fan. Okay, if you want, I don't have a confirmation to sell which time frame. You can back and book at minute 15. Josh closing at support. Yes, it's closed pretty strong bearish, so we're still, there's nothing. Let's see where the next M15 closes. If we close back above that resistance, we could have an option. GJ, absolutely nothing still. Nothing on German 40 as well. Shirley Smith, your TP is at 33.25. Okay, you've almost tapped into it. Oh, no, TP to 32.90. Fair enough. And my runner, again, the spreads must have just taken me out. All good. I did secure 80% either way, so. Like 4 hours close, strong bearish below. Carl? Yep. Bjorn, so the path tool, I think you can find it in the brushes section. Yeah, this one here. So just highlight the star, click on the star, and then it'll pop up in your toolbar. So again, just follow my cursor here. Click on brushes, which is include the arrow, the across at the top. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down, and then just click on the path tool just there. Cost number, my runner works at 10 pips profit if it goes up. Oh, okay, nice one. So you're trailing it in profits. Dude, is this train new? No. What, price action trading? Probably maybe one of the oldest forms, I suppose. I've been trading pure price action for probably the best part of about 6 years when it comes to scalping. Been trading for more than 8 years though. Brian, do I intend on buying if it closes above this resistance? Oh, okay, trading view. Predictive text, I'm assuming. Yes, this is trading view. Brian, you want to take a buy now? Alright, if you've got the reason to do so, stay fan, can sell. Not for me, no. You're all good. So it doesn't look like it's ready to bounce gold. It's still making its way to the downside. Good print. Thoughts on GJ? Again, I mentioned before the chart, the areas look clean, the levels look clean. It's just consolidating. It needs to close above the resistance, which is at the current daily candle high, which is also a 4-hour level. If it closes above that point there, we've got clean traffic to the left. There could be a good chance it pops up further to 197.750. But at the minute it's just struggling, it's just consolidating, so there is no confirmation. The other thing I'd be looking for is a pullback to support here 197.10, 197.05, and a wait support to form for a potential buy, or wait for price to close below that point for some sells. Clean traffic to the left. Gold still trying to come down further. User advantage analysis says it will go down to 33.20. It looks like it could. MA, am I streaming every day? Yeah, Monday to Friday. Stay firm. What time? It just depends on the day. So Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday about an hour and 10 prior to London Open. So it just depends where you're from as to what time that is. And Tuesdays, Fridays usually about 30 minutes prior to session open. You're from Paris, so you're an hour ahead of the UK, I'm assuming. So that's, again, so just do the math. So it's about 7:50 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday for you, and about 8:30 a.m. I think it is Tuesday and Friday. Marius, good day to you. Lois, over leveraging is killing me. Yeah, you need to have a plan as to how much you're willing to risk per trade, or even of a day as well. So you need to take a step back if it is causing damage. I'm assuming your losses are outweighing your wins by the sounds of it. So you just need to be disciplined. You need to have a plan and follow it strictly. I know it's easier said than done. It took me the best part of a few years to accept it too and stick to proper rules. But it's just you need to. You're just sabotaging your own, good work when you do things like over leverage. And yeah, I mean, discipline is the key. Speaking of discipline, X-Key, to be fair, gold yesterday was almost the whole day bullish. It was unusual. I said to my guys yesterday, I just feel so overbought. It just continues to trickle up. There wasn't a great deal of momentum. I mean, once or twice the volume kicked in, but for the most part, it was a slow trickle up. Left, yeah, I think Gold Snipe's got a few different YouTube accounts. Good print in Melbourne, Australia, mate. Louis Vuitton. All good, mate. Yourself? MA, what age? The ripe old age or young age? 8 years ago. So what's that? I forget half the time how old I am. Because I feel like I'm 21. My mum says she's 21. So she's 21 now. I must be younger than that. 35 is when I started trading. Roughly. So there you go. You know my age, if you were listening before when I said how long I've been trading for. Discipline is key. I think what makes a great trader is being adaptable at all times with strict rules. Yeah, very true. Strict rules stopped me from doing something very impulsive before, which I was tempted to do. and would have been a bad trade. So having those strict rules and just realizing they work for you, but knowing sometimes when you could potentially use intuition a little bit more can also be beneficial. I mean, it's a fine line because you can never be perfect, and you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be times when you're going to make a mistake. You're going to take a shit trade, a stupid trade, a FOMO trade, or whatever. Get more human. But if you can eliminate that to the most, the best you can, then you're going to be, again, much better off if you're following your rules strictly as you possibly can. But Lois, the good thing is, because you know what your problem is, it's over leveraging, so it's not that difficult of a fix. So keep positive, keep at it, and just take a step back when it comes to your lot sizes and that. Sam, yeah, Gold Louis Vuitton. You just turned 36? No, I'm older than that, mate. I'm 43. Started trading when I was about 35. Bjorn, how many orders do you handle place at one time? I'm assuming me. It's usually just the one. Yeah, I don't like to try and manage multiple trades, especially when it's scalping. If it's swing trading, that's a different story. I used to have multiple positions open, but not scalping. Last time I did it was when I was calling signals in a different education group. Had 3 trades running at the same time and all were wins. It was a crack. I remember that. That was such a good day. GU, GJ, and Gold all at the same time, and one after the other. It was a cracking day. Mariri J, so looking for a buy, but nothing at the minute. Good print, original New South Wales. Okay, fair enough. Home Hughes, what's your entry point going to be for the sell? Already taken a sell from higher up, so there is no entry for a sell at the minute. The next level I would consider a sell, but I want to trigger in buys prior to it, so I want to support the form at this previous level here to the left, and then I want it to close below, and then I would trust further sells. Otherwise, I want price to pull back. The deeper, the cleaner the pullback, the better. Right, the lower high, and reject. It could reject the most recent level that we have formed resistance at, or could potentially come up to the next level at 33, 39, 40, that sort of region. And I'd also look for a sell from there. But I can, in between, look for a buy from above 33, 33.50. Brian, should we buy now? Not unless you have a reason to. Not unless you have a signal. Disminsky, you look 25. Thank you, mate. It's all about nutrition, that, and keeping fit, working out, drinking lots of water. No added sugar. That's my motto. That's what I live on. Honestly, when anyone asks, it's just literally, it's no added sugar. Louis Vuitton, there's a few lower lows in the left. I feel like gold wants to go down there and sweep all those. Potentially could, yeah. Again, higher time frame picture, I'm very, very bullish on gold. Fundamentally as well, like just what's going on everywhere, I still believe gold will eventually create a new all-time high. I think at some point it will eventually get up to the 5, even much higher than that, maybe 10 plus K. Not saying anytime soon, but down the track, I believe it will. Exact same in silver, not obviously those levels, different story, but I believe silver will be of much greater value than what it is today. And I am accumulating as much as I possibly can. Louis Vuitton, 5k in this month, nice one. User, should we buy? If you have a reason to buy it, I don't, so not for me. Sam J again, not for me. It's crystal clear, guys. Said it multiple times. It has to close above this point for me to consider buying it. Eddie says yes, so can you guys do what you believe is the right thing to do at the minute? For me, I don't have a confirmation. Sam J, nice one. It's just MagicKey to become a better trader. It is also necessary, I think, to just watch candles print and see how it reacts to levels and just analyze. That's honestly what I did for the most part during the lockdowns. Did my own heading, sat there, watched for hours of a day. Wow, look at gold now. So absolutely pumping to the upside. We're breaking that resistance, but there is no entry. Need the confirmation of closure above. Guys, give me 1 minute, I'll be back. Oh, game over. Look at that. Wow. These moves. Gold is absolutely pumping. Is there anything breaking? No. Not that we can see. It's just pure price action at the minute. So bouncing off support. Well, that's the move. Not much you can do about that. So what I would need to do is reassess yet again, and likely I need to wait. First of all, you really need to wait and see how this counter closes, but if it was to close very strong bullish, then next option would be potentially, if there still was the margin, if the next M15 closed weak bearish like so. Wait for the new candle to create slow wick and begin to break above. That is potentially something you could look at. Let's just quickly look at the hourly as well. It's going to be closing back bullish, so off the back of that, that would also be a valid entry. Or if it is to continue to push in the next 9.5 minutes, then it'd be a matter of waiting to see how price reacts to the resistance. And if it rejects, potentially look at sells, or if it pops back down to support and form support, you could be looking for buys. But prior to any buy above 33, 39, 40, what I want to see is price trigger in some sellers. So let me draw it out properly. So what I really want to see is, again, price trigger in some sellers from this point, reject, and then wipe those sellers out and close back above. If it's to come from these lows and do something like so, I wouldn't trust it as much. I'd rather wait for a bit of a pause in price action. And otherwise you could look for the sellers again if it does reject. Further options, if it creates the high low, pulls back, that's, you know, pretty much it as to what I'd be looking for moving forward on gold. German 40, again, I'd be preferencing a price pop back down to the 4-hour support here and look for a price action catalyst from that point. The issue is it's chopping about in the minute just now, so it makes it difficult because you won't have any clean sort of traffic if it is to now continue to consolidate and trickle down to the lows. So it probably would be best at this rate for it to actually maybe create a bit of a pullback where you could look for sells upon a lower high or equal high, and then make a clean move down, and then look for the buys. So we want to open up this range again at the minute. As it chops about, the more data prints, the more difficult it becomes to find clean options within this current area. GJ, for me, it's all about 197.10. If it is to continue reject around the daily high, I've tapped into it again and rejected, I'll be looking for buys above that support or sells below it. Similar to what I just mentioned on gold, if we are to come from these highs straight bearish, I'd rather it trigger in some buys prior to looking for sells below. At least one bullish candle and wipe the bullish candle out, close back below, and then we may have a very strong price action catalyst, and also high probability that we could come back down to 196.60 roughly. Otherwise, keep rejecting the daily high, the resistance is 4-hour level. If we finally close above it, I would preference the 30 on GJ. Close above it, retest it. That's a solid entry to take it up for about 20 pips. Not a great deal of margin, but still might be able to find something off the back of that. So that's about it, guys. I'm not going to get the gold trade just now. It's not going to present, and I have something cooking in the oven, so it's time for me to go have some dinner. Well done to those of you today who took advantage of the sales earlier. Well done to those who are currently running in buys, and to everyone else, thank you once again for your support. Ethan, I just went over it, so just rewind it like a minute, whatever the stream, if it's possible. I'm not even sure if you can, but anyway, take care, guys. I'll be on tomorrow, same time, same place. To my team, I'll catch you guys a little bit later on. I'll keep you guys posted. See you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
YouTube, TikTok, have a good one. Till tomorrow. See you soon. Bye.